I made a few thousand from LinkedIn running different automation campaigns, messaging campaigns, offering my service, and it works, right? It's easy to filter people. You can send them messages. It's a business platform. People are there to do business. But there are a lot of downsides to LinkedIn. You've got to filter through a lot of people saying no. If you are sending people messages, I guess that's just part of outbound sales overall. But if you ever look at the content on LinkedIn, that is the worst. That is so terrible. I hate LinkedIn content. And sometimes I get sucked in to it and it is so bad. But yeah, that's besides the point. I have a few conversations on LinkedIn where I'm offering my remote team services, where I'm offering to help people save a little bit of money as they build their marketing team, um, where people think it's outsourcing. And it's occurred to me that people don't really know the difference between outsourcing and building a remote team. I was having this really frustrating conversation with someone the other day, and my message went out from the automation, and they got back to me saying, "Hey, let me guess, outsourcing." And I was like, "No, Sharon, it's hiring a remote team. This is going to be someone that's part of your team, but they're just not in your country. That's how going to be able to get the savings that I'm talking about in my message." And she was like, "Oh, so it is outsourcing with capital is." And I'm like, "No, Sharon, come on." I've tried to, and obviously that conversation didn't go anywhere. So I'm making this video to explain the difference between the two and also the pros and cons of both. So let's start with some definitions. So outsourcing is where you contract a third-party company or individual to take care of a specific service or a specific task for you. And then when you're hiring remotely, it's effectively just having someone as part of your team, but they're just not in your office. This could be a remote employee that's in your country or outside of your country. But yeah, you're managing the person and they're part of your team. They're going to your meetings. They've got working hours. You're giving them feedback reports. You're helping them improve, develop them, everything like that. They're part of your team. So that's the difference in definitions between the two. And I started out my SEO agency doing outsourcing, or when someone would pay me to do the service. Because I wasn't a writer, I would outsource the writing, meaning that I would pay a company to do the writing. And I made a few mistakes just in terms of how I structured this. I was getting about £100 per page, and then I would pay about 65 to get it written. So then I wasn't getting much profit from that, based on my other software costs and things like that as well. So yeah, that's a mistake that I made, but I started out doing that because that's what the program that I went through advocated for. They recommended just doing outsourcing to keep your life as easy as possible. And I did see it. I did see it. You would put the brief together and then you would send that to the company. They would take care of the content. They would get it back to you. And it worked well. The clients liked the content. The content performed well in terms of its SEO performance, and it was getting results. So that was lovely. There was one time it didn't go so well, and this was still very early in my SEO agency journey, and I was like, okay, great, well, I've got a lot of content to do here. I think it was 12, 15 pieces maybe, and I was like, hey, look, let's get them all done by the outsourcing company. So I put these briefs together, sent them across, and then I got back like a lot of them, and then I was like, great, not loads of time spent by me. This is taken care of. It was delivered quickly, etc., etc. And then the client didn't like the content. He didn't like the tone of the content, and my mistake was that I had already kind of closed that project with the company. I paid for it. You pay up front, and then they deliver it, and then the project was kind of closed at that point. So then I had all these pieces of content that I needed to rewrite myself because I didn't have the budget to be able to then get it rewritten again. So this was really not good, and I was getting up, I think, between 5 and 5:30 in the morning, and it would just be the first thing I did every day. I was working between 2 and 3 pieces of content every single morning, where I was rewriting it, changing the tone, everything like that, and I was just stuck there like, oh, this isn't why I started my business at all. Like, what am I doing here? I hated that so much. I actually forgot about that until I was preparing this video, to be honest. So yeah, that's where it really didn't go well for me. But then over the last 4 years, I've used a combination. I didn't move away from that company at all. I kept using them quite a lot. But then I also brought my content writing in-house. So I'd hire someone full-time. They would take care of the content, and they'd come to the meetings, and I'd give them feedback. And yeah, it worked well. But I also used the outsourcing company as well, because there was a specific client where it was very, very technical, and it required quite a high subject matter expertise. So then it made sense for me to just outsource that, because we only needed it that technical for that one client. So I didn't need to hire someone like really, really, really expert level for all of the content we were writing. That wouldn't make sense. But then I still just wanted it done well, right? So that's why I'd outsource it. So I'm going to get into a few of the pros and cons, other than that one specifically. But yeah, as I said, I use a combination of the two, and there's been plenty of times where I've decided to outsource over hire and hire over outsource. So I think we can get into that if my system works well. Let me see. Yay. Okay. So there's a few things here when choosing between outsourcing and hiring remotely that you've got to bear in mind. So the first thing is management demand. So do you need to manage the person? Are they going to require training? Do you need to teach them how to use all the systems as well as do the job that they're doing for you? That's where outsourcing takes the upper hand. This is just plug and play, really. You're going to get it started very quickly, and you don't need to worry about having to manage them, or it's not going to be really any strain for you as a manager or business owner or anything like that. You can just get this done, and I guess that just falls in with speed as well. If you have a requirement and you find an expert company, you can get that started and that project's going to be going. Whereas if you have a requirement for a certain kind of video that you want to edit, and then you go the approach of hiring someone, bring them on board, while you might save a little bit of money by doing that, that's going to take a whole lot of time to get that video edited, over if you just outsourced it to a company who do this time and time again. And I guess that links to what I just mentioned, cost. It's a lot cheaper to hire remotely. If you are hiring a full-time person for, let's say, £1,500 per month, this might be a marketing professional. You could get someone really good working for you for that amount. They might be working for you 40 hours a week and able to edit you, I don't know what it would be, maybe 15 videos per week. So that's about 60 videos a month. You're not going to be able to outsource it to a company for £1,500 a month where you're getting 60 videos a month. That's just not going to happen. So your long-term costs of hiring remotely are always going to be better. Always. Almost always. Not always. Most of the time, when you're talking like for like in terms of quality, it's going to be cheaper to hire remotely. Not always. I don't know. I don't know why I said that. Quality, I would say it's probably about the same between both. Based on the management demand, there is going to be some training. So early quality might be poor, or poor in comparison to outsourcing when you're hiring remotely. But I think long term, I think the quality is going to be about the same between the two. Of course, it depends what level of person you're hiring from an outsourcing company versus a hiring, if you're hiring someone to bring them on board as part of your team. So that can really vary in terms of the quality, but I would say hiring remotely, that quality might be lower to begin with if you do need to train this person, particularly if you're hiring a beginner virtual assistant, for example, £500 a month. You're with a plan to train them up on video editing, email marketing, media buying, whatever it may be. That quality is going to be a lot lower to begin with, but eventually that could work out very, very similar between the two of them. Fun, I'm going to say fun is better, way better when you're hiring remotely. You've got people you get to work with, you're joining calls, you're joking around, you've got that whole company culture aspect of building this remote team as well. So you're having a lot more fun. When you're outsourcing something, it's just a task, it's getting done. Yeah, it's great, it's getting done. But But if these are the things that you care about when it comes to building a team and the work that you're doing, then you've got to bear those in mind, right? Fun and culture. We've got double quality. Specialized work, I would say this is outsourcing and good for outsourcing. This is related to the example that I just gave. I had a very specific use case. It was a specific client with very highly technical content that we needed to write for them, and the work that we're doing for them was finite. It was a piece of content, so that is easy to outsource. Whereas if you're trying to build an SEO strategy, for example, for someone, outsourcing to a company that does SEO strategies only, that's not really going to work as well, and it's less finite, it's less defined. So that's why you would probably just delegate that task of building an SEO strategy to someone internally within your team, if you were to bring on an SEO professional, that is. Control, obviously you've got a whole lot more control when you're hiring someone remotely. That's because you're able to give them feedback, you're able to give them, I'm not sure what the word is, I can't remember what it is right now, but it's when it's very specific feedback on something specific. So it might be a piece of content or a video that they've edited, but then you can also give them large scale feedback, and I'm forgetting the difference between these two things. But yeah, it's like feedback is their approach overall, their approach to work, everything like that. You've got control in that regard, but then yeah, also the specific tasks too. And then scalability, due to the speed and the lack of management demand, or the reduced management demand, things are a lot more scalable if you're outsourcing. So if you're growing quickly, for example, and you need suddenly to produce 20 pieces of content for a client, then you'd probably go the outsourcing approach rather than hiring individual writers for the work that you're doing. So yeah, those are a few different examples of where outsourcing might be better, where hiring remotely might be better. And I would say, yeah, it really does vary. That's based on my experience, how I've found it. And yeah, I hope this video has been helpful for you. I don't really have too much more to share, but if you're bought into the idea of both, I can offer you an outsourcing opportunity to outsource your remote hiring to me, and then I can help you hire remotely. So that's what I do. I help people hire overseas, build their remote team, and save about 50 to 80% on if they were to hire locally, if they're based in a country like UK, US, Canada, Western Europe or Australia, countries like that. It's going to be a whole lot cheaper if you're hiring somewhere like South Africa, Eastern Europe, the Philippines, etc., etc. That's what I do. So if you're bought into both, you can outsource to me, and I can help you hire remotely and build a team that way for the different tasks, for the marketing and sales roles that you need. If not, no worries at all. I'm going to be posting content that's both applicable to this and also just business stuff in general, because I like it. So thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.